In 1902, beneath the burning sun of Middle Egypt, British archaeologists led by explorer John Garstang made a discovery no one could have imagined would rewrite history. They were excavating near Nuwayrat, a small village about 265 kilometers south of Cairo, close to the ancient necropolis of Beni Hassan. Among the sand and stone, they uncovered a sealed clay pot. Inside it, curled in a fetal position, lay the skeleton of a man who lived 4,500 to 4,800 years ago. He was not a pharaoh, not a noble, not wrapped in gold or buried beneath monuments. He was a commoner. Yet today, this unassuming burial has become one of the most important archaeological finds in Egyptian history, because this man now holds the oldest complete genome ever sequenced from ancient Egypt, and what his DNA revealed has stunned scientists. A man who lived at the dawn of the pyramids. Carbon dating places his death between 2855 and 2570 BC, during Egypt's early Old Kingdom, the very era when the Great Pyramid of Khufu was either rising skyward or newly completed. This was a moment of transformation when Egypt was becoming the civilization we recognize today. But a question has haunted historians for generations. Who were the people behind this civilization? Were they purely indigenous North Africans, or did their blood carry echoes of distant lands? For decades, scientists tried and failed to answer that question. Why Egyptian DNA remained silent? Beginning in the 1980s, geneticists attempted to extract DNA from mummies, but Egyptian burial practices worked against them. Natron salts, resins, and embalming chemicals preserved bodies for the afterlife while destroying fragile DNA. Later studies managed to recover partial DNA from 90 mummies dated between 1380 BC and 425 BC, but the results were fragmented. The full story remained hidden. Until this man. Why the Nuwayrat man changed everything. Unlike later Egyptians, he was not mummified. Mummification had not yet become widespread. Instead, his body was placed inside a ceramic vessel, sealed, and laid within a rock-cut tomb overlooking the Nile. That pottery container, combined with the stable environment of the tomb, shielded his remains from heat, moisture, and bacteria. Against all odds, his DNA survived. Researchers from Liverpool John Moores University and the University of Aberdeen extracted genetic material from the cementum of his tooth, a dense tissue ideal for preserving DNA. His genome was sequenced at 2.02x coverage, meaning scientists effectively read his DNA twice to ensure accuracy. For the first time in history, ancient Egypt spoke genetically. What his DNA revealed. The research team compared his genome with over 3,000 modern and 800 ancient individuals, using advanced techniques such as principal component analysis, PCA, and admixture clustering, tools that map genetic similarity and ancestry. The results were astonishing. About 77.6% of his ancestry traced back to Middle Neolithic North Africans, likely the indigenous farmers of the Nile Valley who cultivated wheat and barley and mastered the river's floods. Approximately 22.4% of his DNA came from Neolithic Mesopotamia, dating back 9,000 to 8,000 years, from regions now known as Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Jordan. A smaller fraction, between 1.1 and 4.7%, pointed to Levantine ancestry from the eastern Mediterranean. This was genetic proof that Egypt was never isolated. It was connected to the Fertile Crescent, the cradle of agriculture and civilization, where farming began nearly 10,000 years ago. tracing his family lines. Scientists also examined his mitochondrial DNA, inherited from his mother, and his Y chromosome, passed down from his father. His maternal line belonged to haplogroup N1A1B2, common in North Africa and West Asia. His paternal line belonged to E1B1B, widespread across North Africa and the Near East. Importantly, his genome showed no signs of close parental relatedness, suggesting he lived in a genetically diverse community. At first glance, this seems contradictory. If both his maternal and paternal lines were North African, how did Mesopotamian ancestry appear? The answer lies in genetics. Haplogroups trace only two narrow family lines. The vast majority of our DNA comes from countless ancestors. His autosomal DNA revealed that people from Mesopotamia had entered his family tree many generations earlier, their legacy carried quietly through time. A life written in bone. Chemical isotope analysis offered further insight. Oxygen and strontium isotopes confirmed he grew up in the Nile Valley, drinking its water and living within Egypt's geology. Carbon and nitrogen isotopes revealed a diet of wheat, barley, animal protein, and possibly Nile fish, typical of early Egyptian farmers. Physically, he stood 157 to 160.5 centimeters tall, about 5 feet 2 inches. He lived between 44 and 64 years, possibly reaching an age that would be equivalent to 80 years today. Genetics predicted brown eyes and dark brown to black hair. A facial reconstruction, created using high-resolution 3D scans, brought his face back from the dead, weathered, human, unmistakably real. The burden of his work. His skeleton revealed a life of relentless labor. Severe osteoarthritis scarred his joints and spine. Muscle attachment marks showed he repeatedly carried heavy loads, held his arms forward for long periods, and sat on hard surfaces that reshaped his pelvis. His curved spine and damaged right foot pointed to repetitive, specialized work. All signs suggest pottery making. This aligns with the introduction of the slow-turning pottery wheel, which entered Egypt around 2400 BC, likely through contact with Mesopotamia or the Levant. A burial that raises questions. Yet one mystery remains. Pot burials inside rock-cut tombs were uncommon for ordinary laborers. Such burials were typically reserved for individuals of status or importance. So who was he? Perhaps a master craftsman, producing vessels for pyramid builders or temple rituals. Perhaps a skilled artisan whose work connected Egypt to distant trade networks. Whatever his role, his community honored him. Why this discovery matters. The man from Nuwayrat proves that ancient Egypt was part of a vast, interconnected world. Archaeology has long shown trade between Egypt and the Fertile Crescent as early as 6000 BC, but now, for the first time, human DNA confirms migration alongside cultural exchange. This single genome has opened the door to Egypt's genetic past, and scientists believe many more voices are waiting to be heard. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the ancient world, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Until next time, keep seeking the past to better understand the present.